accident. The man who received the double leg transplant was in his 20s at the time and has not been named, initially lost his legs above the knee in a road accident. The transplant was carried out in July 2011 and took more than 10 hours to attach the new legs, a procedure that included connecting nerves, blood vessels, muscles, tendons, and bone structure. The patient was expected to take immunosuppressant drugs for the rest of his life, but had to stop because the medicine was complicating the treatment of an illness he contracted. Finally, the need for safe blood and blood products and to thank voluntary unpaid blood donors for their life-saving gifts of blood is again being emphasized as the world celebrates Blood Donor Day. With the slogan, "Give the gift of life, donate blood," the 10th anniversary focuses on the value of donated blood to patients, not only in saving life, but also in helping people live longer and more productive lives.
The Radiographers Registration Board of Nigeria was established in 1987 and is charged with the responsibility of determining the standard of knowledge and skills to be possessed by persons seeking to become members of the profession and to improve those standards. But in recent times, the board raised an alarm over quackery in the profession. In this interview, the acting registrar of the board, Mr. Michael Okpaleke, takes us through what radiography is all about and why quackery in the profession must be tamed.
Radiography, well, we use it every day. I'm also aware that once in a lifetime, one of you, yourself, or somebody you know, must have gone for an X-ray, an ultrasound, a CT scan, an MRI. All these are all embodiments of radiography. But to define it, as it were, radiography is the art and science of using radiant images to promote health or to treat diseases, and also to produce diagnostic images which can be used by the doctor either for diagnosis or for treatment. And this includes X-ray imaging, ultrasound imaging, computed tomographic imaging, magnetic resonance imaging, tomographic imaging, and radiation therapy. That's the whole embodiment of radiography. So if somebody has done an X-ray, is sick, he goes to the hospital, and is sent for an X-ray, he's doing radiography. Or he's doing an ultrasound, a pregnant woman is involved in the radiography. So, or he has an accident and he's requested to do a CT scan, is a radiographer that will attend to him, or do an MRI, or to do, maybe he has a cancer, either of the breast or any part of the body that require that cancer be treated, is a radiographer that will attend to him.
Okay, so from all that you have said now, radiography is quite important in health services. How is the practice in Nigeria?
The practice in Nigeria is good, except that in most of the hospitals we really don't have these advanced imaging facilities like the MRs, the CTs, and therapy machines. But the government have recognized the need for this, and I'm aware the federal government has approved the deployment, of these machines to major teaching hospitals, federal medical centers, and as soon as they're installed in those places, this will be used by radiographers to provide the necessary needed health services in the country. But the private centers I know also have. In fact, like in Lagos here, you have many private centers that have these machines functioning. And even in some of the teaching hospitals anyway, in some of the government hospitals, the government brings in these private operators to come and put these machines in the hospital, and they operate it at private partnership.
Okay, the Radiographers Board of Nigeria recently raised an alarm over what's described as quackery in the profession. What informed that?
Is one of the statutory functions of the Radiographers Board of Nigeria is to maintain a register of registered persons in the profession and update those registers from time to time. Now, in our attempt to do this, for us to identify the radiographers who are trained, registered, and licensed by us, we have to go to the field. We have to embark on surveillance and monitoring activities. So in so doing, be able to see, you will now see that there are some people who are practicing this profession who are not trained, nor registered, nor licensed by us. So those ones are not trained and licensed by us that we identify during our field activities we regard as quacks. Even the radiographers themselves, those who are also trained, who do not renew their licenses, who did not register with us, nor renew their licenses yearly with us, are also treated as quacks as well. Because in medical practice, you will need to update your knowledge from time to time to be relevant in the field because of the dynamics involved in the profession, especially radiography, where equipment and machines are undergoing regular updates and changes. So continuous professional development programs are important. So if radiographers are not doing this, and they are practicing, they are backward, they will not provide the required services we need. So we also refer to them as quacks. But yes, then those who are not even trained at all, who didn't go to school of radiography and are practicing it, they're practicing it ignorantly. And coming to your question again, you said, what informed it? Because we know radiation, as it were, has both positive and negative effects. Positive effect in that it will help us to treat diseases, help us to diagnose it, and know the state of health of another person. Negative in the sense that if an unchecked dose of radiation is put into human body, it can trigger off the growth of cancerous cells. This we know is dangerous to the public, and the board have to stand up to make sure that such persons that will predispose Nigerians to such risk, that will remove them from the system. So that is why we are engaged in regular monitoring and surveillance activities to identify these quacks and flush them out from the system.
Where would you put the level of quackery in radiography in Nigeria?
The percentage of quackery, you mean in the country?
Yes,
in the country, well, or in radiography? I would say it should be less than 30%. Because of activities, we try as much as possible to root them out wherever they are. And the ones we arrest, we also take them to court. And we have a lot of schools producing radiographers from where employers of labor can go and take radiographers to provide the required services. Even if they don't know, they can also, sometimes they come to us. We find ways to provide radiographers for them.
A recommendation by the board recently is that in fighting quackery is for patients or their family members to